There are a lot of people out there with insomnia, and there's lots of information out there on the internet about sleep hygiene or the habits around sleep. And they're keeping the room dark enough, cold enough, not having caffeine after 12 noon, not to have clock watching throughout the night, because all these things can lead to poorer sleep. There's a whole slew of other things as well. But what we find is that the information alone is not sufficient. You can have plenty of information about the habits around sleep and how to improve it, but the primary thing that we know is a gold standard for overcoming insomnia and having more sound sleep is cognitive behavioral therapy, changing thoughts and behaviors. So some people, they hear the word psychologist and it makes them kind of cringe a little bit. And it makes them, think, well, that's the person that has some really serious problem and it's not me. So why would I go see a psychologist? But what we find is that insomnia, it's really a very common problem, something that we might see in about a third of the population. Some physicians tell their patients they should have 8 hours, but really people may only need 5 hours, 6 hours. You can't force yourself into sleeping 8 hours if you're a short sleeper. You can't force yourself into sleeping 8 hours if you really need 10 or 11 hours. So there are really no hard and fast rules about the number of hours you need, but what we find is that when people get a core amount of sleep, say 5.5 or 6 hours of sleep, that at least is meeting their physiological needs. And there are people that catastrophize that and say, oh, I'm having horrible insomnia, but really they're meeting their fundamental needs of that core sleep, deep sleep, stage 3 and 4, which is physiologically restorative. When people start to have poor sleep and they've had a couple nights of insomnia, then they start to dread the next night. And that anxiety of, I have to fall asleep tonight. If I don't fall asleep, I'm going to have a horrible day. That pressure and anxiety leads to an increased likelihood the person will have more insomnia. So what I do as a sleep psychologist is help teach people to change their thoughts, to not put so much pressure on themselves. And when they take that pressure off, then oftentimes we see the result that they have more sound sleep. Some people think of psychotherapy as a long process of years of therapy, maybe even the old classic image of being on a couch with Freudian psychotherapy. And that's not really what we do nowadays. We do more short-term therapy. I see myself as a teacher. I teach people how to overcome these things where they've gotten stuck and they just didn't have enough guidance or accountability. So I want to give you the tools and help empower you so that you have sound sleep. So I have a really clear ability to diagnose, which allows me to create a treatment plan that I share with my patients. I'm very transparent in that way. And it allows us to have a collaborative relationship where we're a team. I'm just teaching you how to change different thoughts and behaviors, talk about nutrition, exercise, and we're going to individualize that treatment plan so that it fits you, and we're going to find the best way to optimize your sound sleep and your well-being in the shortest amount of time. It's my goal to empower you as quickly as possible.